have a lot of nice
Hello, Facebook.
coats anymore.
You're all out of coats?
I'm all out of coats.
How could you possibly run low on coats?
I know.
YouTube. Hello, YouTube.
Hello.
Letting folks filter in.
We're here today to speak to you. I don't know. I'm going to start preaching in church.
Is that what you were going for? Because I feel like that didn't hit the mark.
No, I was kind of going for like a late night telecommunication.
Forgetting. Yeah.
Televangelist.
Yeah. I see. The telemarketer.
Telemarketer. Televangelist. Isn't it the same thing?
No.
And we are finally live on IG.
Cool. Hello, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Willow Volante, one of the founders of Volante Design.
I'm the other founder, David Volante.
What?
We're doing a very unusual Monday live stream.
Yes,
Unusual
and we're
for
doing
us.
an unusual event as well. Would you like to tell us about it?
Heck yeah. We just announced that we are launching a big sale. And by big sale, I mean the biggest sale that we
We've
have
ever done in our lives.
Ever.
Of all of Volante Design.
It goes against all of our
Core principles.
core principles for how we market our products and what they are worth and their everlasting value. It goes against all of that stuff. But we're in unpredictable times, unprecedented times, unpredictable times.
Whack is the best word I can come up with and have been using for what is going on at this moment, people.
I would say that right now, all options are reckless, so we have decided to choose a reckless option that will put us in a better position regardless of what happens in the future.
Yes. That's David's weird way of saying we're doing our New Game Plus sale in order to give ourselves the time and flexibility to figure out how to navigate in these new waters. If you live under a rock and you don't know what's going on, there are tariffs. There's insecurity. There's a possibility of a global recession. The list goes on. You live here, hopefully, on this planet.
You know what's happening. At least to a degree. And we're happy to sort of talk about how what is happening affects our business in general, small businesses in particular, more in particular.
Yeah. One example that I thought was great, it was on, was a woman who imports her product from China, and she's like, the shipment usually costs me $30,000. It's going to cost me $200,000. That was at 100% tariff, not at 200% tariff. But anyway, then
245% tariff.
Silly town.
We
but
take
basically,
the cost, we multiply it by almost 3.
Shipment was like, she's going to ship it to Australia. It's going to cost her double. She's going to ship it on to there. She has a family and a home, and her mortgage is leveraged against her business, and it was a great example. So is ours. Welcome to our personal lives. It's an unprecedented time, and like things we've started working on are going to be made in China because we've got it 90% of the way done. To restart the process means we lose a whole lot more money and time and blah 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 than not making the thing at all or making it all over again.
It was last summer we announced that we were moving into international manufacturing.
Yeah.
And that had nothing to do with what's going on right now. It had to do with the fact that producing in the United States is no longer tenable. It will not get better anytime soon.
It will maybe get better in the next 5 to 10 years, but that's kind of a long time frame.
5 to 10 years is the most optimistic time frame I have heard so far.
Absolutely, but that's like the soonest anything could change
in the
fashion industry in the United States.
It took China 20 years to build its manufacturing capacity to the point where it's at right now.
Yeah.
And they have complete say over what people do and where they do it.
Which we do not necessarily
They
condone
get to say this city is going to be the garment city. And it's not just like a little town that they're calling a city. It's like this is a city of millions of people.
Okay, New York, your new job
is only clothing. And
Are you good with that? No? Oh, that's just not how it works here.
That's a level of organization
yeah.
that I don't even think we could dream of that kind of organization.
Nor will anyone put up with that. So.
Right. Well, but anyway, yes. Whatever that is all aside, like there is this point of like that took 20 years to get it to that capacity.
Yeah.
There's no way that's happening in this country. The companies that have the money to invest in manufacturing, I feel like this is part of the conversation that comes in further down the live stream. But the fact
is, we're in a really weird pickle. We're in a weird situation between the various powers that be, and we are one of those small businesses that you hear about on the news that might be impacted by these global changes. And unlike someone like Apple, who can lay off a quarter of their staff, redistribute, redesign their product, make another manufacturer, yes, that costs a huge amount of money, but they have that money.
Yep. I mean, even
we're not ready to lay off a quarter of our staff. It wouldn't even help us to do that.
Even Nintendo.
It's just not. Not
what
the
was
way to do
it? I think it was in 2020. They said, okay, so it's unpredictable to make things in China, and there's all these other. There was fear of tariffs coming from China, so Nintendo started the process of moving most of its manufacturing of Nintendos to Vietnam, and they still haven't finished that. And they're Nintendo. They've been doing this for 5 years, and if they had finished that, these tariffs wouldn't have affected them in the same way that it has, and we'd be able to pre-order Switches. Like, if Nintendo can't pivot to a new factory to the point of being able to do that, and they have the money to build the plants, they have the ability to do all this stuff, small businesses are never going to be able to do that. We're not going, like, so, with that said.
So it is our policy not to share too much of our dirty laundry on any of these live streams, because it's just not what we want for our brand, and it's not what we want for our lives or our kids' lives or any of that. So we won't. But know that we're one of those stories. Know that we do have kids and we do have families, and we are in a vulnerable position at the moment because there is so much uncertainty, and because we have made plans around some of the factors like not having tariffs. We've made plans around that. Yeah. We're working with fair trade and WRAP certified factories, so it's not that our move to do international has everything to do with the fact that the US doesn't have as many options to make clothes and to make the kinds of clothes that we really specialize in. Yeah. The operator system was like the most eye-opening, I think, because we made it with a couple of different factories and nobody could handle it.
And they all promised they could.
Everybody said, yep, we can do this, and basically no one could. But we've shopped it around at a couple of really great factories in China, and we have some real quotes and some
real options.
And some real options to actually remake the operator system, which is something we're really excited to do in 2026. Assuming we are still here.
Yeah.
And I don't say that as a threat or as in case of, but like, no, I think it is just true. It is a fact that we need to face.
These, they're, wait, no. What do I want to say? What I want to say is we have been moving towards this international manufacturing initiative. We have also been moving towards, we've mentioned this a few times, towards capsule collections, towards a new sort of release cadence and a release model that we haven't been able to do before because moving overseas allows us to do these things.
Right.
We're really excited about those things. It's a lot of change.
It's been like a project for years, and it's like we can see the little bit of the door outline. I think we can see the door. It could be, we could walk through that door in 6 months.
It's a big change.
We'd really like to do that. We've been working towards getting to that door for 6 months, and
for 2 years, but yeah.
No, the door that we could walk through in 6 months.
That we could see, yeah.
Now we can see it. It's
it's
tangibly there. We finally have a really fully equipped marketing team. We have arrived at all these plateaus of like,
we can do this now.
We're gonna stick our flag in the ground. We're really excited.
It has always
to be capable of this.
This strategy, moving to this new model, has always been, this is a risk, so we're taking our risks very seriously. We take them one step at a time. We're very slow. And part of that process was always going to be clearing out some of the stock in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And really solidifying and like paring down our offering so that when we're offering something, it's just this for a while. And then we offer something else, and it's just this for a while.
Right.
So that it's really clear when you go to our website, like what it is that we currently have.
Right.
Right now we have a lot of things. Our old model, our previous model of like just releasing whatever came to mind, like is good.
That sounds like we just did random shit, but
No,
in
but
some ways,
it's
it
the
was
scalability is challenging with that kind of thing. And we like to tell a story, and that story gets muddied a little bit when we do all of these things. So it was always our plan to slowly, one at a time, get ourselves to a point where we had a nice, clean, clear offering.
Yeah, we did have plans long before the trade thing to clearance like 4 or 5 products in our warehouse. So, but we're clearancing quite a few more than 4 or 5.
And now it's this is the time where we can no longer take, as we mentioned, as Willow wrote so eloquently in her blog post, we can no longer just take individual steps.
There's going
in
to
order
need
to
to be a
get
leap.
there, we have to make this leap. We have to literally just jump. We have to clear out the warehouse. We have to become more fluid and more sort of able to deal with whatever might come our way.
Right, and if we then end up having to pay more for this product, we need to kind of have it in the bank to do that.
And the best way to do that, that's to sell. We have stuff.
Yeah. Questions?
We have a question. So if you're moving facilities out of the country, are we able to still buy in the U.S.?
Of course.
Yeah. So the manufacturing is happening overseas.
We're not moving out of the country. That's a great question. We are still going to oversee every part of our in-house design process. We make all the first prototypes. We test all the materials. We make the patterns. We decide on the colors. We get them custom dyed. Our product is simply going from being made in New York City to being made in a fair trade factory in China or in other countries. Like
India or other options like that.
We're still in relationship with a couple of other factories. So it's not the ones that are the most reliable and the most concretely giving us good deadlines and what we need from them are currently in China. But we're not leaving the country tomorrow.
Yeah.
Our
the operation
manufacturing
of
process.
the manufacturing process, which was always done by another company. So like we've always outsourced our manufacturing to New York.
Yeah.
It's a factory that isn't owned by us. They take contract work. We send them the instructions on how to make something, and they send back products.
And we go down and we make sure it looks exactly the way it needs to and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's been really nice with New York. We're going to have to do more of that online, digitally, with Zoom calls. Can you walk us through the first sample, show us all the things, send us the sample, blah, blah, blah. That's part of why it takes so much longer. It's like, okay, we'll send you the pattern, you send us a sample. Oh, okay, it looks good except that you did this thing wrong. Okay, send it back. Oh, it looks good except the weight of the material isn't heavy enough and I can rip the pants pocket off.
Yeah.
You saw that video if you are one of our regulars.
UPS ground to New York is overnight by accident, like just by
Happens to be, yeah.
So it's really cheap and it's really fast to ship things back and forth from the factory.
Yeah.
But we will no longer have that option, so it makes our process longer.
Mm-hmm.
But the overall sort of structure of our business is not changing.
Yeah.
But this is an opportunity for us.
Yeah.
So whenever something crazy happens and we make a big change, it's usually because we see an opportunity. This is
this is our path forward, we believe.
Yeah. And it's an opportunity to enhance the experience, I think,
Of what Volante Design can do.
of what we can actually do.
And you can experience that in like January, but right now you can get a really good deal on products that we really believe in and love that are in our warehouse that we simply have to make space with.
Yes. This sale
so-
will allow us to do what we want to do.
Yeah, but like
But only if
we
you
gotta
buy from
get
us.
there. Yeah, David is like always a year ahead, and that's great. We need that, appreciate that, love that.
We must be there.
We must be there, and we
One of
must
us.
plan for that future. And also, today, we would love it if you told people about our sale, if you bought stuff from our sale, if you like, comment, subscribe, follow, share.
More than you usually would. This is the most we ask. Like, I think the last time we've asked for anything like this was during
Probably
COVID.
yeah.
If you are usually just like, oh, that's really cool, and you scroll past and then you buy something, we love you. But please like it and comment on it.
That would help us a lot.
Like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Just take that one extra, that extra 10 seconds and be like, this is awesome. it would.
Or tell one troll to fuck off. Or whatever it is that you would like to do to add to the cause. We would love to be there. We catch most of our trolls, but every once in a while one slips through. So if you were going to order something from the sale today, what would you order? And why is it this thing you're
And
ordering?
why is it this thing that we chose intentionally ahead of time?
Tell me a little bit about the Tengu and why it's one of your favorite pieces in our sale.
I went through the whole list on our sale, and I mean, I obviously love everything.
Of course, you designed them.
I designed them. I wouldn't have made them if I didn't love them. But the Tengu is an unusual piece.
Yeah.
It's sort of a I don't know. I'm losing the word right here, but it's a good example of one of my weird ideas.
It's a cool, weird idea. I think in some
all
ways
of like
it's very soft for you.
Yep.
Like if I may, it's got like there's a way in which it's got some fluidity, and I don't want to mess up the mic, but it's got some like drape, and that is different for us. Like I think it's really
structure.
I think this is a
a
great
structure.
example of structure, which is something we do really well and often. And this is really not that. This is like some structure in a lot of flow, which is cool. It's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people don't always know what to do with
We've
that.
had,
You have to kind of own it.
It's
in
a weird
different way.
piece. Like the Battle Tacet is weird. Like it's not quite that weird, but it's weird in that like it's unusual. It's really different.
Yeah.
It's something that I wanted to show because we've got a couple of different models, but I've never modeled it. So I thought it was a great opportunity for me to just like.
The back is also really sharp, I think. Got this like cross shape with the waistband. That's really pretty. I also happen to think this looks really nice on ladies because it has this drape, this like collar thing. So I think it fits nicely, unifit.
I think
If
I
your
love the
thing wasn't clipped to it, I'd try it on. But
I love the straps. I love having these triangles at the end of the strap. I think they add these tri-rings. It's something that we haven't done on other things. It adds some
anime.
weight to it.
Yeah, it's very anime. Question?
Someone asked, living in New York City, would picking up orders be a possibility to reduce costs, given tariffs will eventually affect new products?
Nope. The short answer
I
to that question
appreciate looking
is
for that.
nope. We like to quality check and review and stock all of our products in our warehouse in East Hampton. That is not like the shipping
East Hampton,
from
Massachusetts.
East Hampton, Massachusetts. We're not in the Hamptons. If we were, we would probably not be having this problem.
Yeah.
And we want to keep our stock in a centralized location. So even if we do manufacturing, as we do manufacturing overseas, we'll still have our stock come to our warehouse, quality checked, reviewed, counted, so that we can make sure that it really fits our standards and meets.
We do have people pick up from our warehouse here in East Hampton.
If you live in East Hampton, you can come by.
Or in Western Mass.
By appointment. Please don't show up out of the blue. It has happened, and it's always a little weird. We love you.
Weird.
We're happy
it's
to
not
see
weird.
you.
We're in a different
but it can
mode.
be disruptive.
Yeah. We're in a different mode when that happens. So.
Yeah. But you could certainly,
Yeah, there isn't a lot of avoiding increased costs, one way or the other. Even like our primary factories, our primary sources of materials, still come from China.
Right. If we only made things in New York, and we kept with that relationship, which is a really great relationship, we have no plans of leaving that factory. We just want more options for other types of products. So like. They do wool coats really, really well. They make bellhop uniforms. They make firefighter, they make military kind of slightly formal wear really, really well. So wool coats are on the list. But the materials we order, no matter what we do, like these buttons were custom made for us.
In China.
In China.
The fabric.
This fabric
comes from Korea, but still Korea got a 34% tariff.
Right.
This
quilted material.
I don't even know where that comes from because even when we buy fabric from suppliers in the United States that are U.S.-based companies, the majority of the fabric is not actually made in this country.
Or they buy the yarn and then they spin the fabric here and they dye it here, but that yarn still came from China.
Yeah, at some point it's going to be affected by tariffs.
Some part of it came from China.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who installs HVAC systems, Mike, who used to install HVAC systems, and he was saying like there's this one particular part that's made in China that then gets shipped to Canada to be added to a part, and then it gets shipped to the US to be added to another part, and then it gets shipped back to Canada to have some other thing done to it, and then it gets shipped back to China to be put back into this whole system that then gets shipped to the United States. So like that is gonna get tariffed
Each time it
4 or
crosses
5
any of those borders.
It's a shit show, my friends. And that is also true of
And is that
textile manufacturing. There are a lot of pieces here.
is that a silly system? Yes. Globalization of manufacturing in that way is kind of silly.
Yeah, that's true.
This may, if we can only look at the silver linings, this may help to
In 50
mitigate,
years, we may be happy about
mitigate
this.
some of that
Maybe
stuff.
not.
but-
It's hard to know. But Volante Design will not be here in 50 years unless we get through the next year. And so the New Game
4.
Plus sale is our like leap towards that future. I chose. Thanks for asking the question. Matt.
I was going to,
No, I'm
and
just
then we
kidding.
carried on. What did you choose to wear? What from our collection, our current sale, would you like to talk about?
I'm so glad you asked. Thanks for asking. I chose the women's Dorian because I think it is such a beautiful cut and color. And I don't think it got enough love and enough attention at the time. It's really architectural.
Scoot this way. For the vertical.
It's really architectural, and I think this shape is just really subtle and cool and nice. And it's a little bit asymmetrical, and I'm into a little asymmetrical whenever possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks great on you.
Thanks. I think I'm taking this one home. It's the last one in my size.
So no one else can have it either.
Well, no, there's quite a few left. So
Yeah, it's great. That's it. That's how the sale is going to go. We hate to
we hate putting our products
capitalize.
on sale.
We hate to capitalize on FOMO. Like none of that is not. That's not our intention.
Yeah.
But
I think you if you've been here for a while, you'll know that we're pretty straight about how things are and what's working and what's not. And this simply isn't going to work unless we have more options in the next few months.
yeah. Ooh, we have a good one.
Obviously, not all the products are in the sale, so what went into choosing the products that went into the sale?
Great question. I will start and you can correct me as you love to do.
No, I won't correct you.
No? Okay. Basically, there were 2 criteria. One is it has to have a lot of stock left that we feel like,
Enough of the sizes have stock in
right.
them.
So if we have like a 35 and nothing else, like it doesn't matter how cool the design is, like that 135, we can't spend the time on right now. We might make that as part of a collection again in the future, but right now it's not.
So there were 2 criteria for keeping the products not on the sale.
It's correcting me now.
No,
You hearing?
I'm
You
asking for
listening?
clarification.
You listening? Yeah.
There were two
there were
for
2
not going
criteria.
into the sale.
So it has to have a lot of stock, and it has to be part of what we predict and see the future looking like.
So
I want to talk about that part.
yeah, so and it's an and. It has
It is
to
an
it,
and.
it has to check both those boxes. What we think the future of Volante Design looks like. It could be anything. Things can change. It's a creative endeavor, so we always try and predict what the direction is going to be. But things, we get inspired by all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But we looked at our what we currently have, and we said,
Is this like the cornerstone?
Is this the cornerstone of what that collection is? Visually, stylistically, like, does that, so something like the Helsing didn't go in the sale because
A couple of versions.
there's plenty of stock.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of sizes, which means it can stick around for a little while, and it can be there until we have time to fill out that collection again.
Yeah.
It can
It's a
say
good stand-in.
it can say this is what the Novus Noir collection is, basically. When you look at it, you go, oh, okay, that's
This
the idea of
epitomizes-
this. This
yeah.
is the epitome of this collection, and we can build on that. And a little
Like
bit
there
of
were
that
other
was-
products in that collection like that were good candidates, like the Novus, the health,
the Harker vest,
the Harker vest, but the stock was funked.
Funked. Which means that we had a
The
bunch
Victor vest was another good candidate, but we don't have much stock of it.
Yeah. So we might restock those items and bring them in and sort of build out the collection that way. But if there isn't enough stock, it kind of went into rare finds status.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You know.
Like, if you think of it from a resources perspective, like the stuff that we know we want to have here, we're gonna need to make content for, do photo shoots for, send out emails or keep the page up for reviews and things like that. So we want to like make sure that they're the right things. That's part of the stock question. So if we're going to spend, let's say, a day doing a video about a product,
There better be enough in stock.
there have to be some in stock. Otherwise, we will have done all this work to say, hey, have you seen it has a cool pocket here, and it's made out of this material, and you'll feel cool in it, and here's how I might use it. But then if there's none there to actually sell at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun, but
Yeah.
maybe no point.
Cool. So I feel like I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Willow and I are pretty excited about this sale. It means a lot for the future of the company, but also it opens a lot of doors. It opens as many doors as it does, close. Like
Yeah.
we might be selling out of a product now that we never restock. Many of the products that go on will probably never be restocked.
I mean, David was talking about respecing, and you do have to give up all your stuff pretty
Yeah.
much to respect.
When
Like,
you respect your character,
there is a give it
You-
all back to the bank.
you
and
get
then,
all your skill points, or you get all your experience, or all your cash that you spent on upgrading and sort of building what you currently have. You take that all back, and you build something new.
and that's exciting.
And you build something that is designed specifically to make the future easier to surpass.
Yep. Yeah.
So, we're looking at the future, we're thinking, okay, so what do we got?
Yeah.
That's the plan here. That's what we're doing. We're respecting this character.
We got a question. Will there be any other video game-based collabs you guys would be interested in trying to do?
Yes. This
Yeah.
is the short answer.
Yeah.
The long answer is also yes.
Yeah, the long answer is also yes.
There are some that we actually have scheduled for next year and for the coming years that we can't talk about because we're under NDA. And are
And
there
there
any
are
we
some-
can talk about? There are some that are like a little more hypothetical.
There's a
we're,
lot that are
hard trying
hypothetical
for.
because licenses are always, we have to wait till we get them. But
It's a little bit like selling or buying a house. It's like until the final paperwork is signed, like you should not assume this is going to work.
yeah,
It's going to take 2 years. You need to work through a Japanese translator. They
They-
also
okay.
need a Christmas present every year. It's
Yeah.
a long process, so we kind of try not to count anything until it's signed, sealed, done.
yeah. But we do, and the video game industry is all over the place.
Very, very that.
But the opportunities in that, again, it's like if the video game industry is all over the place, like the big names, the big mainstream names are not necessarily the ones that people are going to be most excited to see. So that
Yeah.
means the cool artsy ones
The
are
fun
available
indie
for
companies.
us. If they make a new Soul Reaver game, I'm going to be sorely tempted to reach out to them and figure out how we could make a Soul Reaver thing. Like,
That would be cool.
I don't know what that is. He's a weird skeletal vampire thing. Like, but we'll figure something out
Yeah.
because that'd be really cool.
Mm.
There's 2 Jet Set Radio games. We
I-
don't make
David
clothing.
would love to make Jet Set Radio, but then we got to make some chunky fucking sneakers and some like, and we like,
There's
there's
like
nothing in our
it's a product
toolkit that does
category that
that.
we haven't done a lot of, and so we're not known for it, and
No.
so it requires this respect.
no
It's
one's
like,
going to be like, who's Jet Set Radio?
Would I-
oh,
would
it's
I-
Volante Design. Like, it doesn't read that
would
way.
I kill to have that like little feather in my cap? Yes. So, how do we do that? Like those are the sort of that's the situation that we're in right now. We also got a ton of like side-scrolling ninja games that are coming out again, like Ninja Gaiden, Shinobi. Like that's it. There's just options. There's so many options when it comes to the companies that are feeling strong right now versus the
Yeah.
companies that are chasing trends and having a hard time with it.
And trying to do reruns of things that everybody's sick of.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a little jaded.
Well,
Maybe
you
a
never.
lot.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff out there.
I don't have the nostalgia. I'm not nostalgic. I'm like,
No.
it was good the first time. Let's not fuck it up. Let's not fuck it up.
It
It
would be
was
hard
good the
for-
first time. Like, let's just live with that.
It would be hard for you to be nostalgic. You only started playing video games when you met me.
That's true too. I don't know. There are a lot of franchises that are being rebooted right now.
Yeah,
That are like,
there's
do
too
you
many.
want this again?
answer is sometimes
Yes.
like Jet Set Radio.
That's true.
Will
Jet Set Radio will be cool.
Will I buy that Golden Axe game? Probably.
Yeah.
I'll definitely buy Ninja Gaiden and the new Onimusha.
That's true.
But those aren't necessarily reboots. That's reinvigorating a franchise that's been left dormant.
To die. Yeah. Any other questions?
No questions. Someone did say I would buy chunky fucking sneakers.
Yeah.
But
But how do we make? It's a
Yeah,
whole other thing.
we're not really set up for chunky fucking sneakers, but I would also buy and wear chunky fucking sneakers.
We could make the baggy pants and the and the sick hoodies and the cool there's all sorts of cool stuff.
We go around spray painting people. Yep.
do you have preferred combos of your products?
Ooh.
Preferred combinations.
I have an easy out because the Dorian coat has a Dorian vest that's been designed for it. But I also think you can really wear any of the vests in the Novus collection with the Dorian really nicely. Really.
When we were doing that battle tacit shoot, I was like, this is it. I've got 5 pieces on and they're all awesome. I think I had a smuggler shirt on underneath, I had the Kage jacket and the Sekko vest over that and the battle tacit and the talons, and I felt like a ninja and it was awesome.
I think they were asking about the Tengu in this moment, but I think
pairings
you're
with
right.
this?
That was a great outfit.
Yeah, I mean, you could wear this with the Sekko vest. It'd be cool.
Really?
I know everybody says that. Everybody looks at me when I say that'd be a cool thing you could do, and everyone's like, that's crazy. And I put it on, you're like, actually, that's fucking sick.
Well, I haven't seen it, but you're probably right.
I bet we have one.
Yeah, I bet we do. You want me to go get
Yeah,
one?
yeah, go grab one. I don't know. That was an on a whim idea, but I think there's one right there.
Swatch your mic when you put it on.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry if I bump it.
Yeah. All right. Cute.
Right?
It's weird, but I take it. Yep. So if you're just joining us now for the very first time ever in your life, you've found a really weird moment to find us, sorry. But the fact is, we are doing what we're calling New Game Plus sale because we could certainly rage quit. There have been moments, I won't lie, where it seems like a good idea. But instead of doing that, we're gonna try and respec our character and really restart from scratch, but not really, because we wanna keep our people. We want to keep our equipment, and we want to keep our knowledge and our ability to do cool new things. But we kind of need to pivot in some of our core strategies.
Yeah.
And that means having the ability to do so basically means time, money equals, right? Time equals money, right? Something like that. Times C squared.
Times C squared? That'd be nice.
Times C squared.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm joking, but if you really want to read about it, you can go to our blog post, which is at the very bottom of our website, and it's, you scroll down, there's a black section, and there's a link that says blog next to about and some of the other stuff that's down there. What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing, just... Yeah,
Those are the best instructions I've ever given in my life.
The homepage banner.
Yeah, or the homepage banner. We got it nice and clear. There's a nice
What? Come on, those are the best instructions I've ever given in my life.
Not the best instructions, but maybe the best directions.
Is that not the same thing? Are instructions not the same as directions?
No, they're different. There's a distinction.
What's the
There's
distinction?
We're
Tell me, is there really a distinction between instructions and directions?
We got a question? Sorry.
Is it what's the difference between instructions and directions? Because there's none, people. Crushed.
Someone said, at the last RFO sale, I think I remember something about the Rebel Squall not being as popular as we'd hoped.
Yes.
Are you going to try to continue making workwear-based designs given a new Andor season?
No. No, motherfucker.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The
Okay.
polite answer is when things don't work, we
the-
tend to take it as a piece of direction. Instructions, you could say. Direction or instructions, that might not be the direction our audience is like hoping for us to go in.
It's so funny.
Andor has such a cool style, but Would you
I-
like
I
to,
would- I
would you
would-
like to correct me?
I would argue. No, I'm not correcting you. I would argue
Yes.
that some of the pieces that we currently have in development are not too dissimilar from the Rebel 2.
That's false. False. There would not be considered workwear in that classic
No,
space.
it's not our trucker jacket. We're not trying again on a trucker jacket, which was
The Rebel 2 was, we did call it a trucker jacket at the get-go.
No.
As a sort of as a joke.
well, yeah. Jeremiah was like, "What is a trucker jacket?" And I thought, "What would a Volante trucker jacket be?" And so that is kind of part of the inspiration of what.
It's
the
one of
Rebel
my favorite pieces we've made.
Yeah.
And I no shade, I really love the Rebel 2. But when things don't sell, we don't make more things that are just like them.
Yeah, we don't make that again.
Yeah.
We don't always know what just like that is.
Yeah.
We don't always know what it is. There's so many variables: material, colors, style, closure. Like there's all these different things that go into it. And we make something that's exactly the same material, that's a kind of similar style, that's like all these different things, and the closure's different, and it might be great, and we might not even think of it as similar.
Yeah. It's true.
Sorry.
I
Say
mean,
these
we've-
crazy things.
People also I remember being at con and people being like, I really like that black and purple hacker, but not that black and blue hacker. Those are different jackets.
Those are different jackets.
So
For us, they're
for us,
exactly
they were
the same.
exactly the same with like one hue difference, one pixel variance.
So the answer is no. If it didn't work, we won't make it again. Or yes, if it didn't work, we might make it again. It depends on how you feel about it, not how we feel about it.
Well, that answer doesn't work either.
You define, like you.
I think no motherfucker was much straighter up and clearer and more manageable, to be honest.
This is
but-
why my favorite quote from the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy is,
Yeah.
"Do not go to the elves. Ask not the elves for advice, for they will answer both yes and no."
Yes. Are you trying to say you're an elf deep down inside?
It's a little bit of that, and also a little bit of the dwarves are lost on cross country, very dangerous over short distances. I really identify with those two
statements.
particular
Got
quotes.
it.
Yeah,
So you're like a Legolas Gimli hybrid?
yeah,
Got
that's it.
That's a weird, fucked up character.
Yeah.
Ah.
Or maybe I was Legolas and I'm moving into my Gimli years.
The older you get, the grayer, the more beard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anyone gets to be Legolas over the age of 22, 23.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
You've aged out of being
Yeah,
Legolas
except
after
for
that.
except for him,
Yeah.
except for Orlando.
Well, he
Bloom.
doesn't age. He's got some.
Something else going on.
That's different. We
Vampirism.
don't know how that works. Yeah.
Someone asked, could you pick any products to define Volante, even retired ones?
Mm. In the past, I would have said. In the past, I might have said the Kenway/Eagle, because it was like the thing people knew us for. If you Googled Assassin's Creed jacket, you'd find it.
And it does.
you
It
Googled-
includes everything that we.
We had that thing around for like 10 years.
Yeah.
With a little teensy gap in the middle. Obviously, it became a different product and we did it licensed, and that's a different story.
But it's got all of our sort of
Quintessential.
quintessential elements. It has a fit, and the fit is defined in part by the paneling and the styling and the color blocking. It has bold color blocking. It's got organic lines, like nice, sweeping lines. It's pointy at the bottom, like
It's pointy. It's kind of flappy.
it transforms. It's got different modes that you can wear it that actually really change the way it is perceived.
It reads differently in
It
different
has
forms.
a sick ass hood. I mean, it's got all the things.
But then I'm not sure I would say that in the recent years.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
not
the Rook
necessarily-
was also a piece that really felt like Volante design, and I know those are both licensed pieces, so that's tricky.
Then, outside of the license, but also doing a lot of the same stuff, would be the Jonin for me.
The Jonin. Yeah.
It defines Volante in the same way that a Corvette is what you think of when you think of Chevy. It defines it because it's the coolest version of it. But you can't. They can't all be that. Not everyone can buy that. You know,
Not everyone wants to wear
Not everyone wants to drive a Corvette.
the
like,
Corvette version of their.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it is, you know, like that's the one that we put out front, but it's not. But it may not be the one that speaks to you personally,
Mhm.
but it might bring you in,
Mhm.
and then you're like, oh, but also that hacker's pretty sick.
Mhm.
I could wear that all the time.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, so that's how I sort of have always defined the quintessence.
Quintessence.
Yeah.
Like it. Good word.
Thanks. So
Thank you so much for joining us. We are here to talk a little bit about the new game plus still, which somehow is hard to say. But basically, we're respecing our character, the build of Volante Design, and we would so appreciate your help. Even if you can only comment, like, share, do something online, post a review on YouTube, tell your friends. We would love whatever
post
you
a
can
review
do.
on our website, post a review on Facebook, anything that comes up, any
Yep.
little bit where you're just like, I got an extra minute,
Right.
I'm going to write this cool thing about this company that I love. Doing that in the next, this is a long sale for us.
Yeah.
We're going to be running this sale until the end of June. So this,
Or until we can't run it anymore.
right.
Because it's...
The target is the end of June.
Yeah.
But if we run out of stock,
We will stop.
great. We will be in a position
Or
where
we
we can
will-
move forward
right.
effectively. It
Or
will also,
If it peters out, we will have other problems.
Yeah.
And that will be its own...
we're running it to the end of
discussion.
June in part because things will continue to decrease in price,
Mhm.
or the sale will increase, or the discount will increase as stock starts to run out. Because if we have
'Cause we
only a few
know-
left, we got to get rid of all it. This is the sort of biggest rare find sale we've ever done. It's like, this is about clearing house.
Yeah.
So we have partly so that we have room to get our new stuff in, and
Right.
so that we have, you know, the ability to get that new stuff in. So things will get more discounted, but you may miss out on your size if you wait that long.
Yeah, there are already a lot of low sizes in these products. We've chosen them because most of them do have some gaps. So you'll just have to know that in the process. But thank you so much for watching.
It's
It
been
does
really
feel
fun.
a little bit like we're throwing ourselves into the crowd at the end of the concert. That's a little how it feels. There is a little bit of a like,
And we're done.
will it work?
Yeah.
Let's just jump and
Yeah.
see what happens. Because you are the mosh pit in this scenario. All right, I've gone too far. I'm being cut off. They're
Yes,
cutting my
it's enough.
sound. No, I mean, but it does feel, it is a little bit of a kind of a trust fall or like a jump. That's what I'm trying to say, is not that we're so famous that we're mosh pitting, whatever that is.
Just stop. Would you just please stop?
You don't like it?
You just
shall
keep,
I,
you just
shall
keep saying.
dig myself a nice little grave? The point is, we're kind of in your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of good stuff that'll come out of it.
Yeah.
So,
We've been super lucky to be here for 12 years, and I don't want to get too mushy, but it's been really an honor to make cool clothes, and we would really like to keep doing it.
and this is the best way that we can do that. This sale is the way that we get ourselves in a position where we can
Rebuild.
be flexible enough to rebuild based on how things are changing.
So thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to jump into the Discord. We love to chat with people on there. Closing words.
Thanks.
Live long and prosper. Thank you for visiting.
See you soon.